important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
In a few moments, the news.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Precisely 1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. The draft bill of the 20th Amendment of the Constitution was presented to the Parliament. The Prime Minister requested the opposition to give their support for the 20th Amendment. Fort Police recommences their duties. Partly served indictment over 2016 hit-and-run case. Palliagoda Fish Market closed after 49 vendors test positive for COVID-19. On news overseas, China's Sinovac vaccine to be included in Brazil immunization plan. Local stories in detail. The draft bill of the 20th Amendment of the Constitution was presented to the Parliament this morning. It was presented by the Justice Minister Ali Sabri. Before the commencement of the Parliament at 10 a.m., 20 parliamentarians of the Samagi Jana Bela Vegaya conducted a protest campaign against the 20th Amendment. Explaining views at the debate of the draft bill of the 20th Amendment of the Constitution, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the last government was unable to provide any concession expected by the people through the 19th Amendment of the Constitution. The national defence of the country was completely obstructed by the 19th Constitution Amendment and damage caused to the people's supremacy. As a result, they could not prevent the Easter Sunday attack. He also spoke on the malpractices of the Anti-Corruption Commission carried out by the last government at the Temple Trees. He requested the opposition to give their support to the 20th Amendment. The two-day debate on the proposed 20th Amendment to the Constitution commenced in Parliament. Opening the debate, Minister of Justice Ali Sabri stated the government has made amendments to the draft bill considering the public opinion. He said accordingly the draft bill will be amended to limit the Cabinet of Ministers to 30 portfolios with another 14 non-cabinet portfolios, and the emergency bills will be limited to cases of national disaster or events affecting national security, among other amendments. He said the amendments will be carried out in a fully transparent manner. He also stated that the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was brought by the last government with the objective to gain the President's powers by a conspiracy. The Fort Police Station, which was temporarily closed down for an officer attached to the station had tested positive, has been reopened for the public. The police media spokesperson DIG Ajit Rohana stated that the station was reopened at 9 a.m. this morning after the complete disinfection of the premises. It was reported yesterday that an inspector of police serving in the Western Provincial Special Investigation Unit of the Fort Police Station had tested positive for the novel coronavirus COVID-19. DIG Ajit Rohana said that 125 persons have been taken into custody for violating quarantine curfew during the last 24 hours, which ended at 6 a.m. today. 573 persons have been taken into custody who violated the quarantine curfew rules in the Gampa district since the 4th of this month. 63 vehicles were also taken into police custody. At present, quarantine curfew is being implemented in 19 police areas in the Gampa district and 5 police areas in Kuliapitiya. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
a giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999.
Continuing with the local stories, the Colombo High Court has served indictments on MP Partali Champika Ranawaka over the 2016 hit-and-run case in Rajagiriya. The case was filed over the alleged hit-and-run incident which took place on February 28, 2016, where the vehicle in which the former Megapolis and Western Province Development Minister was travelling in collided against a motorcycle in Rajagiriya, causing life-threatening injuries to its rider, Sandeep Sampath Gunavardhana. The suspect was released on 10,000 rupees bail and 2 personal bonds which each won 100,000 rupees. The investigation of witnesses of the case will be heard on the 4th of March next year. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has ordered to convene on the 6th of next month against the complaint submitted to the parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayaka. The complaint will be heard under the panel of judges of Cecilia Diabru, Vijit Malalgoda and Preeti Padman Surasena. The Court of Appeal has dismissed the writ application filed by MP Rishad Badiuddin's brother, Riyaj Badiuddin, seeking the prevention of his re-arrest by the Criminal Investigation Department. The writ application was taken up before Appeals Court Justices Mahinda Samarayavardhana and Arjuna Obesekara this morning. To end the local news, the headlines again. The draft bill of the 20th Amendment of the Constitution was presented to Parliament. The Prime Minister requested the opposition to give their support for the 20th Amendment. Fort Police recommences their duties. Partly served indictments over 2016 hit-and-run case. Paliagoda Fish Market closed after 49 vendors test positive for COVID-19. That ends local news.
An important announcement from HDFC Bank. A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Enjoy special interest rates based on deposit amount and the government security. Call 0718 800 999. HDFC.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
On the main news story, the Paliagoda Fish Market has been temporarily closed after a total of 49 individuals, including fish vendors, tested positive for COVID-19, Area Medical Officer of Health said. PHI assigned to the area said the majority of positive cases are fish vendors and the people who have bought fish from them recently were asked to report to nearby PHI officers to undergo PCR tests. A total of 105 individuals were subjected to PCR tests after a fish vendor who was identified as a COVID-19 patient had sold fish at the market. He is a resident of Dompe. Accordingly, 49 persons were found to have contracted the virus with the PCR test results received this morning. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, the tea smallholders in Valasmulla and Katuwana Divisional Secretariats divisions in the Hambantota district say that they are facing many hardships for not having sufficient fertilizer for their tea cultivation. About 3,500 families are engaged in tea cultivation in these divisions. This is for the attention of the chairman of the Tea Smallholders Authority. Moving on to world news, the headlines. China's Sinovac vaccine to be included in Brazil immunization plan. Japanese Prime Minister concluding visits to Vietnam and Indonesia. Nuclear Disaster Museum opens in Fukushima. Brazil plans to use a Chinese-made coronavirus vaccine as part of a national immunization program, officials have announced. Sao Paulo Governor João Doria said the federal government had agreed to buy 46 million doses of the vaccine CoronaVac. He said the immunization program could begin as soon as January 2021, making it one of the first such efforts in the world to fight the pandemic. Brazil has been one of the countries worst affected by coronavirus. It has had nearly 5.3 million confirmed cases, the third highest tally in the world after the US and India, and is second only to the US in terms of deaths, with nearly 155,000 registered so far, according to data collected by Johns Hopkins University. Japan's Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide has reaffirmed with the leaders of Vietnam and Indonesia that they will work closely together to achieve a free and open Indo-Pacific. Suga has visited Vietnam and Indonesia since Sunday in his first foreign visit as Prime Minister. He is scheduled to leave for Japan today. He met with Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc and Indonesian President Joko Widodo and shared concerns about China's increased activities on the South China Sea. They reaffirmed to step up cooperation in the field of security, including the transfer of defense equipment from Japan. A dark chapter in Japan's recent history has been memorialized at a new facility in the Fukushima town of Futaba. The Great East Japan Earthquake and Nuclear Disaster Memorial Museum opened last month. One of its goals is to pass down the lessons learned from the 2011 nuclear accident. The museum is located just 4 kilometers from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, which is still being decommissioned. Authorities have partially lifted an evacuation advisory for the town Futaba, but no one lives there. To end the world news, the headlines again. China's Sinovac vaccine to be included in Brazil immunization plans. Japanese Prime Minister concluding visits to Vietnam and Indonesia. Nuclear Disaster Museum opens in Fukushima. That ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by...
When Aya bought a motorbike, he bought 2 helmets. So sweet of him. I'm sure the other one is for me.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikang neve.
Moving on to development news. An extensive program is underway in the Galle district in order to supply drinking water facilities for the people in the district continuously. The people also accuse that currently they are receiving a low pressure of water supply. Therefore, the Water Supply and Drainage Board said they will implement many projects to fulfill their water need soon. That ends development news.
When Tati bought a new family car, it wasn't just for the 4 of us.
It's a 10-seater van. Enough for friends and relatives too.
Mummy insisted on building an extra room in our new house.
Well, you never know who'll come to stay. We need more pillows too.
When I was studying late, Nangi would come by to help.
No, I don't know physics, but I do know you need a Munchie Super Cream Cracker.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others.
When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves.
Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikang neve.
Sports News is brought to you by
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
Moving on to sports news. The Zimbabwe cricket team arrived in Islamabad yesterday to play 2 limited over series against Pakistan. Pakistan Cricket Board (PCB) officials welcomed the visiting team at the airport. Players of the Zimbabwe team who are visiting the country after 5 years will spend their first week in quarantine in Islamabad. Pakistan faced Zimbabwe in 3 one-day internationals, all matches being staged in Rawalpindi from 30th October, followed by as many T20 internationals in Lahore from the 7th of November to the 10th. That ends sports news.
Hey guys, we've got our very own Queen Bear here to review something for us.
Okay, here we go. It's the right amount of crunch and OMG, so much chocolate. The texture is so good. It's creamy and velvety and just so much chocolate. The packaging is super cool and new and there's like so much chocolate. And OMG, the taste, it tastes like so good and there's so much chocolate. Like with every bite. 10 out of 10 for me.
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The government has paid attention to prepare a national trade policy soon. An intelligence committee has been appointed to prepare the national trade policy. The committee met at the Trade Ministry recently. The Minister, Bandula Gunawardena, stated that the trade policy will be submitted to Parliament in future. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The wait is over and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news. Courtesy of
Business Deals, now easy. It just takes a few taps only. Anytime, get it done, all connected. Best discounts with real time. LOLC Real Time. Now download LOLC Finance Real Time app for your LOLC savings account. Attractive interest rates, transactions anytime, anywhere with a zero cost and no benefits.
Moving on to economic news, the Presidential Task Force on Economic Resurgence and Eradicating Poverty says that the crops that can be cultivated locally will not be imported. The objective of this move is to encourage local farmers and the producer. The chairman of the task force, Basil Rajpaksha, said that the expert entrepreneurs and private sector have agreed to give their support in this regard. That ends economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And moving on to weather, the Met Department says showers will occur at several places in Western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Kandy, Nura Eliya, Gaul and Mathura districts. Fairly strong gusty winds, about 50 km per hour, can be expected in north central and northwestern provinces and in Trincomalee, Batiklo, Mathura and Hambantota districts and in the western slopes of the central hills. That ends the weather report. And to end this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The draft bill of the 20th Amendment of the Constitution was presented to the Parliament. The Prime Minister requested the opposition to give their support for the 20th Amendment. Fort Police recommences their duties. Partly served indictments over 2016 hit-and-run case. Paliagoda Fish Market closed after 49 vendors tested positive for COVID-19. China's Sinovac vaccine to be included in Brazil immunization plan.